You're the Dragon here. Today I'll be talking about knives. Probably one of the most important tools you'll have as a bushcrafter, backpacker, outdoors person. Knives are a key tool that will help you get a lot of jobs done, and the more you know about it, the less tools you'll need while you're out in the wild. Today I'm just focusing on Bark River knives. They are my favorite manufacturer of knives for their comfort and their durability. I also like people like Essie. They make a very fine quality knife, but for today this is all I'm going to be focusing on. So I'm going to start from my left, move to my right, and just kind of go over a couple of things that I like about the knife and things that I would possibly change if I see something that's necessary. All these knives are extraordinarily sharp. They use the convex edge. They're extremely good at creating feather sticks, batoning wood, but they all do have their specific purposes. This was my first purchase. This is a Bark River Aurora. The handle material is a desert ironwood burl. The steel is A2. I'll show any other specs that are necessary in the comment section. I got this from Bushcraft, and this is an amazing knife. Extraordinarily sharp. When I first got it, I tried to cut just hanging toilet paper, and it split it without even tearing or anything. So it's extremely sharp, easy to sharpen, easy to maintain. I take this out on short backpacking trips and a lot of my bushcraft outings, which is just very minimal kit. This batons wood, makes my fuzz sticks, preps my food. This thing could do anything. It's got a little bit of weight, but the handle is extraordinarily comfortable, fits my grip well. Yeah, there's nothing that this knife can't do. Now, I probably wouldn't change anything on this knife. I mean, everything for its function and purpose works pretty much flawlessly for me. It's just a fantastic knife. The only reason I don't carry it with me all the time is its weight. It's a little bit weighty for my more ultralight trips that are multi-day. And for that purpose, I went to this knife, the Ultralight Bushcrafter. This thing's under 3 ounces. It's over 3 ounces with the sheath. Both these ones have the Bushcraft sheath with the sharpshooter dangler, just so it drops below my hip so it doesn't dig in when I'm sitting down. It's personal preference. But this knife is just awesome. I actually prefer the ergonomics just slightly better on this for the finger and thumb pinch. It's very comfortable. I haven't found a grip position on this that has not been just superb. This also, as I said, it's desert ironwood with white liners. Again, extremely sharp. I mean, it just is an amazing knife. As far as making fuzz sticks, it's again fantastic. Now, it doesn't have the length, obviously, as the Aurora, so the wood I baton is shorter, just only about 2.5 inches in diameter. And it's also a thinner stock. Now, with that being said, I've batoned, I've done everything. I beat the hell out of this knife. It uses a CPM 3V steel to give it a little bit more strength, even though it's a little bit thinner. And this thing has done everything. It's similar to this, just a little bit more compact in size. I like this knife so much, at some point in time I'll probably get the original Bushcrafter, which is a larger, heavier knife. But this knife is just fantastic. I mean, I can't overstate it. But yeah, I mean, I would most likely try to take lighter knives out when I do ultralight backpacking, but this knife is so comfortable and such a joy to use that I'll accept any weight penalty to carry this. I mean, I would almost carry this, but with this one being an option, this is what I carry on all my ultralight backpacking trips. It's all but flawless. I mean, I really, really like this knife. Moving on, I got this one more recently. This is one of my newer knives. This is the Trout knife. It's almost like a perfect paring knife. It's a little bit longer than the Bushcrafter. It uses the CPM S35VN steel, so it's very durable. It's extremely thin as far as its blade stock, which allows it a little bit of flexibility, but it still can do most of the main tasks. It'll make fuzz sticks without any effort. Its sharpness on basic slicing tacks are just amazing. I use this one all the time at home. This is my primary food prep knife. So for preparing fruits, vegetables, and basic food tests at home, I use it all the time. I haven't done any, I'm not a big hunter, so I haven't used it on any sort of fowl or any birds or anything like that. I have used it on fish, and it works fantastic on fish. This is a great knife. The only thing I'd probably change about this is the ergonomics on the handle. I'd like a little bit more of a hollowing out on the front here, so it'd be better for pinch grip. That being said, it's still a fantastic knife. I'd consider taking this out if I was going to be doing any batoning or anything like that, because it does basic stuff. Like I said, it does fuzz sticks and prep for fire really well. It sends a mean shower of sparks, and for food prep, I mean, this thing is just magnificent. Moving on, this one I got at the same time as the bird and trout knife. This is the Mini Canadian. This one is a A2 steel, desert ironwood handles. It's a thick knife, so it's definitely got a lot of strength and durability. Again, it's extraordinarily sharp. I mean, as far as it just separates whatever you need it to do. I think that this is overall purpose would be for processing game. Once again, though, not a hunter, so it's not going to really be used for that for me. In California, there's not a ton of hunting in Southern California. I initially got this to be an everyday carry knife. But there's a couple of things I didn't find ideal about it. This part right here, it's not very rounded, so when I'm holding it over time, it gets uncomfortable around my finger. Now this is something in time that I'll adjust myself. I'll probably take a file and round this out here and then polish it up. It's also a little bit weighty, and it's a little bit, even though it's a small, compact knife, it's still, for the most part, it's something my EDC like to pocket carry, so it just wasn't ideal for that. Doesn't take away from the fact that it's an excellent knife. It's just, for my purposes and uses, it's just not the best one for me. So of all my bark rivers, this is probably my least favorite. That being said, it doesn't mean I don't like this knife. It just means I don't use it that often. But it is a great knife. Now, this is the Mikro Canadian 2. It's a 154 cm stainless steel. This is the only one I have that's not in desert ironwood. It's in a maple. Once again, just like all of them, just extremely sharp. Does everything I need to do. Obviously, it's small enough that I'm not going to be doing any sort of batoning, but as far as basic everyday use, this is actually the knife I use most. This is my everyday carry knife. I just loop the pocket over a belt loop and then throw it in my pocket. So this thing does anything from cutting up food when I'm out and about, opening packages, cutting up cardboard, cutting rope. I mean, I've used this thing every day. This knife is just incredible. Because the way it's set up, this one has, I don't know how well it comes up, but the last part of the finger goes solely on this front part. There's no wood there, so that's why I find it just uncomfortable here. With the Mikro Canadian, the what do you call it? The slabs come up a little bit higher. So this last one isn't fully exposed, and it does seem to be a little bit more rounded. So it's, even though it's a 3-finger grip, you can actually get a lot of purchase on it. It's really just a comfortable knife. Again, I can't really find a hand position that I find uncomfortable with this. When I'm hiking, I just throw it around my neck. It's extraordinarily light, so I don't have any problems with that. It's actually, I believe, around the same thickness, maybe even a little bit thicker than my Ultralight Bushcrafter. So as far as its durability, it's just incredible. And overall function, this knife works great. I'm sure you can actually use it to process game, but for me, it's my everyday carry knife. I no longer carry a folder. This is my go-to everyday carry knife, and it comes with me everywhere. I also like it because, since it's small, it doesn't really, it doesn't make anybody feel uncomfortable when I pull it out in a public setting. Being in Southern California, people tend to wig out about any sort of knife that has any sort of tactical feel, and this doesn't display that. So it looks delicate, but it performs like a champ. Yeah, this thing is, if I had to declare a favorite, this one would probably be my favorite, strictly because I carry it with me everywhere, every day, all the time. So it gets by far the most use. But all of these have their purpose. So this one is pretty much a great everyday carry knife. If you have the ability, all these were purchased either as gifts or with money that I gained from, like, you know, a birthday or Christmas present. I'd say, hey, just give me money, and I'd purchase these. They do tend to be expensive knives, but they are well worth the money. The convex edge, they do have a micro bevel, but that's really easy to get rid of. I usually do it using 600, 800, 1000, and 1500 grit sandpaper, and then finish it up with a strop. Getting rid of that micro bevel makes these, as far as tools go, just impeccable. They are extraordinary for tools. I really can't say enough good things about them. I highly recommend them. There are cheaper options out there, but this is a knife that one day I'll be able to pass on to my son, and most likely he'll be able to pass on to his kids. But as far as great everyday carry, this would be a good backup knife. This here, as far as it's excellent for food prep, fish and trout is obviously the name of it, so it's ideal for those circumstances. But it can be used as a camp knife if you're not going to be doing any heavy tasks. This is a great all-around knife. It has most of the benefits of this knife, but the strength and durability of the thicker knives I have here. As far as my outdoors, this would be my ideal choice because it's not too big, it's extraordinarily comfortable, it's extraordinarily durable, and it performs all the time, every time. It's just a great knife. So great for ultralight backpackers, or people who don't need a heavy-duty bushcraft knife or are not going to be prying and batoning. And then this is just a phenomenal bushcrafting knife. This would be almost a one-tool option. You can use it for anything from, I mean, I've actually chopped down smaller trees with this knife, and it's just asked for more. This thing's a great bushcraft knife. It's very thick, very durable. So for batoning, for doing actually even some prying work, I've had zero problems with this whatsoever. So those are just my basic thoughts on these knives. All of them are excellent for their own purposes. Most favorite, least favorite, most used, best backpacking, and best bushcraft knives. So tell me what your guys' thoughts are, what you guys like in a knife, the performance issues that you've noticed. If you've had bad stories with other knives or good stories with other knives, tell me your thoughts. Knives are, as I said, the most important tool you'll be using when you're out in the forest. It can do anything from set up your campfire, process your food, and it can pull you out of many a jam because it can make other tools. So if you forget your spoon, you can make a spoon. If you need to make rope, you can make a rope with a knife. You can make shelter with a knife. You can help start fires with a knife. I mean, it is the #1 item that you should think about in your kit, in my opinion. And as such, it pays to pay attention to detail, spend the extra money for quality. You want something that you don't think is going to fail, so this is one of the places that I personally won't scrimp on. So yeah, once again, tell me your thoughts. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions. Thanks a lot.